So Python is an example for high-level language, and it is a free and open source software. So each and every language has its own keywords or set of keywords. Here there is space between these characters because space is a special character with respect to programming concept. This Python language, it uses interpreter for execution of Python statements. Dear students, welcome to computer science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Students, let us start with the chapter 5. This is getting started with Python. So from chapter 5 onwards, we are going to learn a computer language that is Python. So now let us see the weightage of the chapter 5. Here, this is 1 mark questions. There are 2 1 mark questions, and here it is maybe MCQ and fill in the blanks. And 2 marks question, that is short answer question, 1 2 marks question, and 1 3 mark question, that is long answer question, and 2 5 marks questions, it is long or essay type questions. Total weightage is 18 marks. Now let us start with introduction to a Python language. Introduction to Python. So what is a Python? Python is a high-level computer language or programming language. Now you have learned in your previous chapters what is a computer language. A language which computer can understand, or all programming are done with a high-level language, that is one of them is Python. So what are the applications of Python language? So let us see different applications of language, and here it is commonly used for developing websites and software and task automation, data analysis, and data visualization. Here, these are the points: developing a website applications, software, automation, and data analysis and visualization. Now, second one is it is relatively easy to learn, and Python has been adopted by many non-programmers such as accountants and scientists, and for a variety of everyday tasks like organizing finances. So actually the Python language, it will be used by different types of people, not only for programmers. Generally, the programmers will be using for developing a different type of software, but Python can be used by different types of people. They are non-programmers like accountants, scientists, etc. That is one of the applications of Python language. Next one is it is a high-level language. It is free and open source language. So what is high-level language? And here you have learned in a previous chapter about different types of computer languages. One is machine level language, assembly level language, and high level language. So Python is an example for high level language, and it is a free and open source software. So the meaning of open source software is its source code is free. So any user can make, any programmer as a user can make use of the source code for the betterment of this language. Now, it is interpreted language as a Python program executed by an interpreter. Even you might have heard about interpreter and compiler. So, Python is interpreted language. It uses interpreter for execution of statements. Now, programs are easy to understand as they have clearly defined syntax and relatively simple structure. The programs in Python are easily understandable because of it is a clearly defined syntax and simple structure. Now, it is a case-sensitive language. So, what is the meaning of case-sensitive language? So, there is a difference between uppercase character as well as lowercase character. For example, look at the number. In number, it is uppercase and this is lowercase. As per the case sensitivity, so these two are not same. They are different identifiers. So that is the meaning of case sensitive language. Now let us see some other features. So it is portable and platform independent, means it can run on various operating systems and hardware platforms. So the programs of Python, it can run on various operating systems. So that is the meaning of portable. And it has a rich library of predefined functions. Say it is just like other languages, it also has a library. It has a rich library of predefined functions. And it is also helpful in web development. What you have seen in the first slide, first application, this is the using Python language for web developing applications. And web services and applications are built using Python. Now it uses indentation for blocks and nested blocks. So this is one of the important point as far as Python language is concerned. It is indent orientation, or it is indentation is compulsory from one statement to another statement, or from one block of statement to another block of statements. So these are the features of Python language. Now, once we are familiar with the features and applications, now let us see how to work with Python language. So, in order to work with the Python language, as we know, first step is we have to install the software. So, once the software has been installed, then in this Python, we can work with two different modes. One is interactive mode, one is script mode. These are the two methods or two modes where users can use Python language for programming. Now let us see what is interactive mode. To work with interactive mode, we can simply type Python statements on prompt. This is called prompt directly. So when you, after installation, when you open this Python programming, so immediately you will get a screen with this prompt. This is called Python prompt. Here you can make out there are three greater than symbol without any space. It indicates this is the beginning of the Python programming, and this is where we have to type the programming statements of Python programming statements. So here, as soon as we press enter, the interpreter executes the statements and display the results. As we have seen in the previous slide, so in this Python language, it uses interpreter for execution of Python statements. So as soon as we type the Python statement at this prompt, then you have to press enter key. Once the enter key has been pressed, the interpreter executes the Python statement and immediately it displays the results. Now, for example, say this is called a Python prompt here. So as soon as you open this Python application here, it comes with so many name of the versions and everything, and afterwards you will get a prompt like this. See, this is where you get the prompt at the beginning. So this is the place where you type the statements one by one. So for example, here we have written 1 plus 2. This is one of the statement. As soon as you press enter, it is going to execute the statement. So this is 1 plus 2 is an arithmetic expression. It adds 1 plus 2 and the result is 3 is displayed the next line. So this is how we work in interactive mode. Then after that, immediately we get one more prompt here. Again, here is a place we can type next Python statement. For example, 4 minus 2, that is 2, you will get the result, or it display the result in the next line immediately. So this is how we work with the interactive mode. Next mode, that is script mode. So what is a script mode? So here in the script mode, we can write a Python programs in a file, we can save it, and then we can use the interpreter to execute it. So here is an option for us to write a program, or it may be consists of n number of statements. So all the statements we can save in a file, and after saving it, we can compile or we can execute the statement through the interpreter. So this is another method of executing Python statement, that is script mode. So the Python scripts are saved as a file where the file name has the extension .py. So this is the extension name of Python file. As you know, here we have .c is the extension of C file, and we can have .cpp is an extension of C++ file. Similarly, .java is a Java file. Similarly, so .py, it is an extension name of Python file. Now, by default, the Python scripts are saved in Python installation folder. So here, wherever the software has been installed, in the same folder is going to save this particular or these script mode files of Python. So this is a simple example. This is print saver. This is one statement and this is another statement. So these two we can save it and you can execute it. So you will get the result. So this is script mode. So in script mode, we are going to write the program Python programming statements in a file, and that file can be saved with the extension name as .py. Then we can save it, then we can execute the program, then you will get the result. This is how we work with script mode in Python language. Now let us learn the Python language. So here, first we will start with Python keywords. What are keywords? Actually, the keywords are nothing but reserve words. Another name of keywords are reserve words. So each and every language has its own keywords or set of keywords. So here, what is the definition of keywords? Each keyword has a specific meaning to the Python interpreter, and we can use the keyword exactly as it is without any changes here. So we have to use it how it has been defined in the language exactly as it is. So it is going to carry some special meaning to the Python interpreter because Python uses interpreter for executing Python statements. So here let us see different Python keywords. One is false, class, finally, is, return, and these are all different Python keywords we are using in Python language. Next, we will see what are identifiers. In a programming language, identifiers are the names. These are the names used to identify a variable, function, or other entities in a program. So, what are identifiers? Identifiers are the names given to different programming elements. For example, it may be a variable, it may be a function, or other entities in a program. Now, let us see what are all the different rules to frame an identifier in Python. So the first rule says that the name should be begin with uppercase or a lowercase character, alphabet, or an underscore. So if we want to frame an identifier or write an identifier, we can start an identifier with uppercase character or lowercase character or with the underscore. And this may be followed by any combination of characters like A to Z, uppercase, and numbers or underscore. Thus, an identifier cannot start with a digit. So here, identifiers must start with either uppercase or lowercase or underscore, then followed by different types of characters. And here, it cannot start with digit. So this is one of the rule to frame an identifier. Now let us see the second one. It can be of any length. So there is no definite size for this identifier. However, it is preferred to keep it short and meaningful. And it should not be a keyword or reserve words given in the table. So what you have seen in the table in the previous slide, see these are all the different keywords. So these keywords we cannot be used as an identifier. So that is the meaning of we cannot use keyword or reserve words as identifier. And we cannot use special symbols like all these things in identifier. So we are not supposed to use any type of special characters, or these are different types of characters in an identifier. So these are all the rules to frame an identifier in a Python language. Now let us write example for identifiers. Suppose I want to write name. I can write here N-A-M-E. So this is a valid identifier because it starts with uppercase letter followed by number of characters, lowercase characters. Or you can also have it like register number. You say R, E, G and underscore NO. So this is also a valid identifier. Suppose I want to write something like this. If I say 3 X, Y. So this cannot be identifier because it is invalid identifier, because identifier must not start with the digit. This is an example for invalid identifier. So I want to write name school. I say SCHOOL. Suppose if I write like this, so this is also invalid because here there is space between these characters, because space is a special characters with respect to programming concept. So the space is not allowed because it is special character. So this is also invalid identifiers. So this is how to frame an identifier in our programming concepts. In the next slide, we will see what are variables. So what are variables? In a program, it is uniquely identified by the name or identifier. So variables are, as we have seen in the definition of the identifier, these are the names given to a variable. So variables can be identified with an identifier. So it refers to an object or an item element that is stored in the memory. So we have to identify the values or a content of an variable in the memory. So we are using variables to identify it. That is the definition of variable. And value of variable, it can be a string, it can be numeric, or any combination of alphanumeric. So any variable can hold different types of value. It can be a string, means a group of characters, or it is a numeric value, or any combination of alphanumeric characters. So this is variables. And we can use an assignment statement to create a new variables and assigning specific value to them. So how to assign values to a variable? By using assignment operator, that is equals to. Equals to is an assignment operator used to assign values to a variables. So we can assign different types of values to a variables in Python programming. For example, here gender. So this is an identifier. It follows the rules of identifiers and equals to m. So here we are assigning one character. It is a character constant to this variable gender. So the variable gender, it holds the one value. In this example, it is m. Similarly, message equals. So message is identifier or the name of the variable, equal to its assignment operator, and it shows keep smiling. So this is nothing but a string. What are the string? It is a group of characters enclosed between a pair of double quote. It forms a strings in Python programming. So it is also possible to hold these type of values. And again, price equals to. Price is identifier and it holds a value. This is a numeric value. So this is numeric value equal to its assignment operator. So variables are the one it used to hold different types of values and with a different name in programming concept. And here, while writing the name of the variables, we have to follow the rules of identifier, because identifiers are the name given to the programming element, that is variable here. In the next slide, we'll see comments. So what are comments? So comments are used to add remark or a note in the source code. So comments are not executed by the interpreter. So for example, hash, this is the hash symbol is used to add comments. For example, hash addition of two numbers. So actually what are comments here? The comments are the one in programming concept. Here it used to write or write remark in our program or in our source code. See, what is a source code? The program written in any of the high level language is called a source code. So in this example, or the statements we are writing in a Python or source code, and at any point of time in any line we can make use of hash to remark our any of the programming statement. So we can use hash to make a comment or remark on any of the programming statements in a program. And any line which starts with hash, it will be ignored by this Python interpreter. So it will not be executed. For example, now I want to write a Python statement for addition of two numbers. So I would like to make a heading as addition of two numbers. So in the source code. So there I will start the program with hash addition of two numbers. So this forms a comment. So this particular line will be ignored by the interpreter. So it's going to execute the next line without hash symbol or without start with hash symbol. So comments are used, the one in programming concept used to add remark in our programming statements, but it is starts with the hash symbol. This is comment in programming. Next we move on to data types. What are data types? Data type identifies the type of data values a variable can hold and the operations that can be performed on that type. So what is a data type? It is going to identify what type of value we are going to store in a variable. So in the previous slide, we have learned about variables. So these are the variables, and here gender is a variable, and data type is going to decide what type of value we are going to store under variable name, because in a variable name we can store different types of values like a string, numeric, or combination of alphanumeric. So data types are used to identify types of data stored in a variable and also what operation can be performed on that particular data. So this is the definition of data types. And here we have different data types in Python. So data types in Python, here there are 5 sets of data types. One is numbers, sequences, sets, none, and mapping. These are all different data types of Python. And under numbers, we have 4 types. One is integer, float point, complex, and Boolean type. So this is numbers. Under sequence, we have strings, list, triples, sets, none, and in mapping, we have dictionary. So these are all different data types in Python language. It can be used in our program. Now let us see what is the data type number indicates. First one is the number data type stores numerical values only. So as we know that any variable can hold any types of value, but if you have number data type, it stores only numeric values only. It is further classified into 3 types: int, float, and complex data types. Number data type can be divided into 3 types. One is int, float, and complex. And what is int data type? So under here is going to store only integer values. What are integer values? Integer values are nothing but whole numbers. So either a negative number or positive number, we are using int data type to store the integer values. And float. Float is another data types under number. So here it used to store the real numbers or floating point numbers, either negative as well as positive numbers. So here we are using to store the decimal numbers, either positive or negative. It forms your float data types. Next one is complex number or a complex data type. Here we used to represent complex numbers. In the complex numbers, or it is an imaginary numbers, or we used to represent the numbers which are of this type. Here 3 plus 4j, 2 minus 2j, these are nothing but complex numbers. To store the values or to represent these type of values, we are using the data type complex. So these are the 3 data types under number data type. Students, so far we have discussed about introduction to the Python language and features and applications of Python language, and we have started learning Python language with different concepts. Now let us continue our discussion in my next class. Thank you very much.